the screen.
Great. So, Global Teacher Training Program, Module 3.
Dr. Prachi, we see only the half of the screen.
You see half of the screen? Is it visible now?
No, no.
Okay. Just 1 second.
We see you full.
Okay.
Now it's okay.
Is it okay?
Yes, yes.
Just 1 second. Probably there's some network issue. Is it visible now?
Yes, it is visible, but not the projection, but it's okay.
Is it? Okay. Second. Is it visible now?
Yes, yes.
So we are moving ahead with the second day of blended learning, where we understood about what blended learning is all about. It's the combination of classroom learning and online learning, where we blend it together. So the important part of blended learning, moving further from the two which we studied yesterday, structure of blended learning in education. So we all have been teaching our students, connecting with them, and how that structure plays an important role. Let's understand that. So what are the models of blended learning? There are three major models when I talk about blended learning. So the three models of blended learning, first one is supplemental model, second is the replacement model, and third one, which is Emporium model, right? With these, we will try to understand what all three models plays, and what all role does these important models, play in education and also in learning. So the supplement model retains the basic structure of the traditional course, where the supplement lectures and textbook with technology based. So supplement lectures in support of different textbooks, knowledge, context, understanding wherever child is looking forward for something out of the class activities, right? Something which a child has already studied, but then in terms of support, other supplement books or text or videos or lectures or activities if a child is doing, or faculty is recommending that child to follow any website, social networking sites, or checking any experience, experiential learning related to it, practicals, such things where you are giving them some sort of links, interactive activities, kind of games or whatnot. So it is about the up to faculty what they provide them. So any sort of supplement model if we provide to the student in order to help what they have already studied, right? That's what supplement model work here. Also changes what goes in the class of creating an active learning environment. So it is easy for them to understand. This is also one different part of it, where we help our student to understand and create a different sort of learning environment within a large lecture hall. So where we help them in terms of going in a group study, peer group area. So we divide that into separate peer group areas, and then they do kind of discussions where they connect and then give feedbacks, and such thing happens. So that's where supplemental model help all these students to study, and we help our students to understand things in a better manner. Whereas replacement model, so the replacement model reduces the number of in-class meetings or classroom where sitting time is there, basically. So where we are reducing this area, replaces some in-class time with out of class or online or interactive learning activities. So some of them are in class with out of class, and some which are into interactive zone. As I said, peer group together, they are meeting, they've been given projects, sessions, workshops, and where they are self-learning mode as well. So each one is being replaced by one or another that way, which makes significant changes in remaining in class meetings as well, right? And consequently, the nature of the in-class activities is changed as well, because we give them different tasks. And now it is also divided wherever it is required, we are meeting our students in person, wherever it is required, we are meeting our students virtually, and also in groups, also sometimes onto our webinars, sessions, workshops. So instead of traditional lectures, in class time is freed for more interactive collaboration, learning experiences for all our students. So the replacement model also again plays an important role, where wherever and however it is required, it is being replaced from one another, where better learning opportunities or experiential learning opportunities, where we try providing to the student, or we help for better understanding for them. Third, which is the Emporium model. So the Emporium model, what does it do? So the Emporium model eliminates all class meetings and replaces them with a learning resource center, and featuring online materials and on-demand personalized assistance as well, using an open attendance model or a required attendance model depending on student motivation, experience. We need to understand where such meetings which are eliminated or replaced by one another, but the learning resource center features the online, when you provide them extra material, online material, or when, as and when because if a child is interested, if a student is interested in knowing more about it, you provide them extra things, but at the same time you need to understand that how much are they attentive, how much are they giving more importance, or this attendance model depending on student motivation as well. So once they will be understanding, they'll be more attentive about something, they will definitely be attending and having that experience. So that way we'll be able to judge them better onto their experience. Obviously we'll be able to understand that what experiences they are having from one or the another session after it. So the three models where we talk about, and the first one was supplement, then replacement, and then Emporium. Moving further, there are 6 major types of blended learning are. So what are those 6 major types which helps us or our students or all of us in terms of learning? So according to the research report, what blended learning is all about, or what we have studied so far yesterday as well, the 6 major factors where we do in a face-to-face driver, where even on virtual mode, so if we are meeting through our camera, or onto a personal note, even if we are meeting together onto a face-to-face meetings and taking sessions and workshop or classes in the classroom. Second is online labs. So wherever we are connecting, but then we are teaching our students onto an online format, whether it is on Zoom or any sort of webinar or workshop, where we are giving them kind of experiments and guiding them through the online mode, virtual mode. Then rotation, where we keep on changing and converting. So wherever it is required, classroom learning, wherever it is required onto a virtual mode. So it's a combination where as and when what is required. And self-blend. So if a child is required, if the person would want to have a face-to-face driving meeting, or would like to have a virtual meeting, or as and when again. So self-blend, if they are interested, they will be figuring out more learning methods, more understanding, more virtual modes of learning by themselves, and flexibility of it, right? And the online driver. So then they are driving by themselves. So we'll try understanding all these 6 major points. So let's move further with first, which is the face-to-face driver model. Face-to-face driver model where is the closest to a typical school structure, where we teach our students together, and then the faculty is standing and guiding all the students in front of them and giving them the lecture session and guiding them, helping them in in each chapter or subject, and keep on changing the faculties, whereas the child is sitting at the same place, right? And which also allows students who are struggling or working above their grade level to progress at their own pace using technology in the classroom. Whereas when we talk about digital or virtual mode. So again, so whether the face-to-face learning, once is in these classroom structure, second one is the virtual mode. So if a child is learning through digital mode, and the way it allows students, if they are struggling, they at the same time they do the research, they try to progress, but then it depends on the student whether with the help of technology class, so whether they are interested or not. So that one thing is in their favor, but the teacher is anyway taking session and teaching them at the same time. So third is it is actually helpful way to engage English language learners. So why would I say that? Because generally, so when we talk about all the subjects, when we talk about not specifically in English language, but yes, when we talk about all the subjects out there, when we try teaching them, guiding them, giving them instructions, so it is majorly the entire language model what we study in a virtual mode, or try getting all the videos and workshops majorly, because it's kind of a global language for every one to understand better. And no matter what, but then majorly the communication happens majorly in English. So yes, so that is one way which is helpful for them if they are understanding something. So then it is easy for them to communicate, and face-to-face driver model helps them in terms of better learning. Whereas there's some which those who are not very much easy in terms of communication, they try reading it and understanding it, but then for them to express their ideas when it comes to interviews, and when it comes to communicate, express in terms of sessions and workshop, or speaking, public speaking, where they face challenge. So face-to-face driver model has its own pros and cons, but whereas again, as we studied yesterday, a role of the teacher plays an important role here while guiding their students. So that's what the F2F driver model helps. Second, when we talk about rotation model, so as you can see the structure, I would request you all to be on mute, please. Yeah. So second, where I talk about rotation model, so online instruction, second is teacher-led instruction, and third is collaborative activities and stations. So when we talk about online instructions, yes, obviously, as I said yesterday, we were studying all together. So, the teacher is giving instructions to the student how this technology should be used and taken further, because there are many distractions and everything. So the instructions is being given by the faculty or by the technology to be used, whereas before they start teaching. So the rotation model in which students move back and forth between online and classroom instruction. So it depends when we are teaching them online, or when we are teaching them in the classroom. So the way we used to give instructions in the class, but now the instructions being different when we are teaching them into a totally different mode. So this rotation model depends on the faculty, but as and when what is required, the physical activities where it is required. But sometimes we just can't, so we try showcasing them. So the virtual classroom nowadays, which has become, where we are teaching them, but teacher-led instruction, where we used to teach all our students in the classroom, where we used to teach them physically. So the instructions has also changed when we teach our students online or offline, right? So that rotation model plays. Whereas the third activity, the collaborative activity of both the things, when we are teaching them on technology and when we are teaching them physically in the classroom. So the collaborative activity, which help them better, because as and when what questions come, sometimes we can only help them personally. So that personal touch is also at the same time required. Or one-on-one. I would request you all to be on mute, please, again. Right? So that collaborative activity is important. Third, which is flex model. Now, as you can see in the picture, so flex model in which the curriculum is delivered primarily through an online platform with teachers providing, on-site support. So we see the many online videos where we are trying to learn through, but then we have downloaded the material, we are reading all that material, and then for the reference, if we have any, if we are required with something, then we actually look upon on those things. We try looking upon the video and watching that video and understanding what is being given in this document. specifically. And obviously we just can't ask anything because we are not live, we are not connected with them, but just what we can do the best is type or send them questions or something like that, and then so that we can get the better answers, but not straight away, after some time. So that's what online but the offline where on-site support with the teachers or our faculty were provided curriculum. So that's what the flex model, which is actually came from the flexibility. So anytime, wherever, whenever, however you get, you can watch the video, you can read your material and connect with the faculty, try sending them email, and as and when your faculty would be having enough time, they reply. So that's where the flexibility model comes in the picture. Now the fourth part of it, which is online lab model. So the online lab approach. So nowadays, obviously, everything since this pandemic 2019 when it started, everything has actually transformed in a online mode. Everything actually converted into an online lab model. Now, when we talk about online lab model, so the online lab approach, wherein an online course is delivered in a physical classroom or in a computer lab format. So online labs are the many labs where we used to sit together, study, used to talk, and the teacher is helping us there. But whereas online labs where we are doing ourselves, so self-learning mode more, where we are trying to understand things, help ourselves, reading things at the same time, and using those technologies in terms of kind of a physical classroom experience, which we are trying to help ourselves, and their tutorials online or their virtual tour which is given onto the software if something you are trying to understand and learn. So that physical has been transformed into a virtual mode where we try helping ourselves into a virtual mode format and better understanding as well. So self-learning and grasping is being developed. I would rather say due to this pandemic, even online lab model is actually worked a lot, where students are, even if they have missed out anything, but then they're trying to learn better by themselves. So this online lab approach, where an online course is delivered in a physical classroom or computer lab, but then they are also trying to learn onto this online lab model. So sometimes ourselves on a self mode, sometimes on a physical classroom mode, what we used to study at that where teachers were guiding us and helping us to understand things in a better manner and better format. Now the fifth part, where the self-blend model, right? This self-blend model, again, so we discussed earlier, but a model in which students choose on their own which courses they take online to supplement their school offerings. Now they all have been learning, they're visiting to the school, they're learning through that, they are guiding, they've been guided to their faculties, and they've been helped by their teachers, their mentors, the school, the textbooks and everything. But now when this online thing came in picture, obviously the self mode, because now they have a choice. Now they have option that just to support, to understand what supplement they can have through, supplement their school offerings of whatever they are getting, but then what all they can have to have a better understanding for that. So it actually depends. It is for all the teachers out there as well, because when we teach our students, we do the research, we read books, we do read different articles, we Google, we try look upon things online, try study ourselves and help ourselves in a better manner, so that we can explain to our students, so that we can help our students in a better manner. No? So for all those things, we choose which one is the best and how we can help them into a totally different way. So students undertake this traditional classes before enrolling in online. So they understand, they go through these traditional classes where we the classroom before they enroll online, and then once they enroll online, then these coursework to support their studies, just to understand things in a better format. So this, I would say, the self-blend moment, because when we say self-blend model, it is basically where students are actually they're initiating by themselves, they're interested by themselves, that they really want to know something more about any topic or any subject. So that's the reason it's been said self-blend model, where they're trying to learn something, understand something by themselves, right? So does they do the research to understand something, and any of the area wherever they are interested in. Whereas if the child is not very much interested, even if we are not very much interested, no matter what, so it's difficult for us to get into something and do research and study something which is not relevant to our area of practice. So that's where self blend model is again very important for more. But when we talk about role of learning and role of teacher, so and like we discussed in the last session, that curiosity is important to be created by the teachers only. Now how and when and where, it is up to the teacher that how they can create the interest among their students with different experiential areas, with different involvements, with the different activities, the different peer group sessions, or even like for example breakout rooms where we help our students to understand, interact, communicate. So there are better learning areas where students can learn in a better way, interact at least, meet people on a virtual platform, and connect and whatnot through this for better learning, which creates their interest, which develop their interest, help them in better understanding, help them in terms of involvement also increases among them. And sometimes it is difficult for them to understand, but because they have experienced it, it is easy for them to understand. So that is also involved, I would say, in the self-blend model, because once their interest is there, definitely they'll look upon different things. And there's certain tasks which requires their involvement, so then they also try looking upon things, they also try doing the research upon something, they also try to understand something into a up to the depth of that limit, that to understand and why, when, how, all the W's and H comes to their mind, that to know, because in that way they'll be more curious. So that's where the self blend model comes in the picture, but that will only be of help when they would be curious about XYZ thing, whatnot, right? And the sixth model, where online driver model. So the online driver model, where the courses are primarily online and physical facilities are used only for extracurricular activities, required check-ins or similar functions. So online driver model, so online driver model as in itself, it says where the different courses, where the modules, the documents, the things which are already provided either in the video format or in the form of a conference, or in the form of a class, like the way we are taking today one. We are connecting together, like I'm speaking and helping. Similarly, the material, everything is provided online. But all those activities which we do to experience that, to understand all our students, when we have guided them, given them a task, they read through WhatsApp and everything. But then to all these things, they're going out, they're meeting people, they're going to the stationery to get some material and everything. All these things are required to be extracurricular to understand things into a better format. They're required, the meeting, they're going into a to experience that, something which they have seen, like the way students have been looking at Superman, Spider-Man, this recent movie, right? And they're trying to act like him. So all these things, but then they're looking at something into an online driver model, and then they're trying this particular thing by themselves, or trying to experience that and try to understand that in by themselves into a similar function. So that is where online driver model help them. But this is also helpful because again, it's a part of self-blend learning mode only. I'm open for the questions if you all have in between. Just drop me a message or ping me there itself. So I'll just see if, if I have received any. Okay, so yes. There are many things which come across into the self-blend model, which helps the online driver model at the same time. How? If a child, or even if we are interested only, then we'll try learning and reading those documents virtually and attending all those workshops and sessions and everything. Whereas obviously the primary online area and physical facilities. So something where if we are there in the class, if we are teaching our student, they have no other option to, get rid of it. In fact, even if they wish to. So that's the difference. So that brings more kind of a involvement of the person, that brings a kind of a more understanding of the person, because they're actually looking to be there. They are there to learn. And that learning area where this is kind of extra attention they pay, because that's required, that's mandatory from their end. And that understanding from their end is equally very important, because once they are interested, obviously they'll be paying attention. And once they will be paying attention, definitely then they are there to learn, right? And that's from self blend, self interest, this online driver model plays important role, because then they will be learning things, and then they're experiencing things into a physical format to have a better understanding. Any questions so far? Anything anyone would like to ask? All right, so I'll move further till then. I'll wait for all your queries and everything. And recommended uses majorly, so what everyone look for, even on online or offline, but majorly what we look for are face-to-face meetings, which nowadays we do not open with our cameras and then let the faculty speak, and that's how. But then we, at the same time, we also expect to our faculty, so being a faculty, we also expect our students to open up and then connect. So recommended uses majorly for face-to-face meeting, where intro, their technology overview, which we give to our students, collaborative small group work. So small collaborative work in sessions helps everyone to understand things in a better format, to understand, to help everyone to have better understanding of every subject and their involvement at the same time as well. Then kind of advanced discussions too, because that involves, again, like today we are here in this group and then we all are learning together. So that advanced discussions onto each topic, because that gives better understanding to each one, and involvement of everyone for that understanding matters. Then project presentation, definitely. So we all are speaking, learning, collaborating, and then presentations, so that you can make sure that the other person actually understood whatever they've been talking about. And then we invite guest speakers, question and answer sessions, demonstrations, and lab work. So when we talk about guest speaker, obviously, like each day, if you are listening one person, you get bored out of it, even if you are interested or not. But then you feel like, no, not today. But then if you are meeting with new people, connecting with different new people, looking at new faces, you kind of get involved with their energy as well. You kind of get better understanding of that, of something or the other, where they get opportunities, more opportunities, I would rather say, to have better learning. Everyone has their own perception. We must respect that. So that's what guest speakers come up with. And then we can connect with them, ask them questions, share our opinions. So, so that kind of exchange knowledge comes in the picture as well. Then we have demonstrations, so everyone comes up with their own idea. Then we have our own assignments, we have our opinion to share, and that's what we demonstrate with. Even if a child has completed any sort of lab work, any sort of artwork, or any sort of thing they have come up with, they demonstrate, they give, they present, and that also builds up their kind of skills too. So such things basically helps them in terms of understanding, but at the same time, all such things also been recommended when we talk about face-to-face meetings. Now, I would request you all to, if you have any sort of queries meanwhile, so we are open with the questions. Anyone, if you would like to ask anything. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, ma'am. Can I ask you one thing?
Yeah, please. Hi, Rashmi.
Hello, ma'am. Ma'am, actually, I wanted to ask about the modules that you're discussing, and the earlier 2 weeks also. Will we get the module because we have to prepare a report and we have to submit? So for reference.
Definitely. So you will be getting everything and a kind of a document at the end of the module. Roughly in the end of the February, you'll get a entire module kind of a, I would say, handout to understand each module. So, yes.
All right, fine. Thank you.
Pleasure. Anything specifically? I believe what we all have been learning and discussing every day, it is all what we are doing with our students, isn't it, Rashmi? Yeah, Sneha? I'm open for questions, so if anyone would like to ask, Kalpana ma'am, Nada, or else anyone would like to share their, you know, ideas, there, share their experience or anything related to blended learning or face-to-face meetings you all have been doing among your students. Sneha, if you would like to share anything from your experience, Rashmi, open to you.
I'm thinking, ma'am, I'll let you know.
Okay, all right. Anyone else would like to be a part? Shivani or Kanchana, if you would like to share your opinion, please. I think Kalpana ma'am, you are saying you on mute.
Yes, Dr. Sakshi. Hi.
Anji.
Actually, I have no questions. You are doing very well, excellently. No question. I just want to say one thing that you have mentioned the that online lab model. Online lab model. Are you hearing me? Am I
Yes,
audible?
yes, you are loud and clear.
है ना? हाँ, so you have discussed the online lab model. So I have just one curiosity that nowadays schools are totally closed.
Yes.
And all the platforms in either in hybrid mode or totally online mode. So this online live model is not effective nowadays. But my question is not that. My question is that the online live model is applicable to in which subject and up to which grade level? This is my question.
Online lab model, sorry, say that again.
Yeah, which grade for which grade model level and for which subject it is applicable? Subject areas and grade level itself.
Okay. Ma'am, majorly online lab model is obviously effective to all the modes, because nowadays what all we are actually learning, and all our students out there, everything what they are learning onto a virtual mode only. So obviously they cannot experience that, they cannot do the experiments. So if we talk about science, any geometry, their eco, everything which is related to kind of experience what they have been doing it in the labs, in fact even mathematics lab, but now what they are doing it online. So with this sort of experience, there are many softwares, technologies which are supporting and helping them in terms of better learning. So this is how they're trying to bring that into a technology format where they can play this online lab model, what they have been learning through earlier into a physical lab, but now this online lab format has been coming in the picture to help and support them. So definitely it is not very helpful, but yes, to have a kind of better understanding so that they do not forget. You see, nowadays, in fact, since ages, many movies, songs and things which we easily remember because we have seen that, we have sang that song even, and then we have seen something physically on the screen, and which is easy for all our students, for ourselves even, to remember that old song and things. So obviously nowadays things are coming up into a kind of a totally different format when we talk about blending, so kind of a mixed blended format for them, for a better understanding and better format of their involvement, and which is easy for a child to register. In fact, if I talk about early stage, early childhood activities, so their chapters, their subjects, where areas students are very easily grasping things, registering things as songs, in fact the alphabets, and from alphabets to the 2-letter, 3-letter, or 4 or 5-letter words, or other areas, the spellings, in fact the tables. So when they are listening, and there are certain activities, even they're quick calculations, even through certain online modes, students are doing very quickly. So this is kind of a blended learning which has been kind of a blessing through COVID to all the students out there. But definitely physical has its own way and better way of doing it. I mean, I will always agree, being a teacher, that's the best way when we teach our students. But this is what kind of another way where we can reach out to all our students easily, and at least so that they do not miss out something and learn in that particular format. So that's where online learning. But nowadays, what is actually happening, even if the pandemic gets over, the schools gets open, it is getting easier where students are looking forward to do both the modules together, so where they are going for online as well, whereas they are going for physical one as well. So they're blending it together by themselves, because they know that this information they will easily get online and they'll be able to study. So yeah. Anyone else? I'm open for the questions, since we definitely we will be meeting tomorrow once again for the next and the last session of this blended learning. Yes, Rashmi.
Ma'am, in blended learning, how can we develop practical skills or because you don't get laboratories in practical, so how can you enhance their practical skills?
Absolutely. And this is what our topic is for tomorrow. So I'll be giving an example, a very good example, where we can involve students, make them more curious, and kind of a little experience as well for them by having the involvement of all our students. So we'll be definitely coming up with that in tomorrow's session. And I'm sure for that you will be joining now.
Yes, ma'am, I will be there. Definitely.
So anyone else? I would request you all to join on time. It's such a small module, but then connected, and when we all meet together and share our ideas, and kind of collaborative learning also comes in the picture. So every idea, obviously, we welcome, and then every opinion matters. So we all are teachers here. We are learning from each other at the end of the day. Anything? Nada would like to say anything?
I really don't know, because Dr. Prachi, you today explain us all the models. Honestly, I didn't know those models. I learned really. And if we talk about the practice, she asked how will we learn the practical skills. Yes, if it is a world about vocational education, what many teachers do. The students like example massage, or at beauticians, or cooking. They were making they were recording themselves when the teacher will explaining what to do. So that was the only way how to see that really somebody is doing that practical. It is easy to the, like, for the, I can say, for the economics, or somebody who learns only theory, but working on the computer, like fast writing on the laptop, the students were recording themselves and sending that and show how they do, and you can also see their mistakes on that way and help them and explain how to do.
Definitely. So with this, I would like to end up with today's session, and very happy and excited. Definitely, we will all be meeting tomorrow at the same time, 4 p.m. I would request you all once again to stay tuned and connect with us 4 p.m. once again tomorrow. Till then, please stay happy, stay safe, because I see there are many people from Mumbai, so which is not in the very safer zone. So stay safe, stay healthy, and we will be meeting once again. Till then, bye-bye. Take care.
Bye. Bye-bye.